Our civilization is always striving to answer questions. One of the big questions that has afflicted humanity is, does life exist deep underground? I too have become a victim of this question. The existence of life would require a functioning ecosystem. An ecosystem is just a physical environment that can support a nutrient cycle between organisms. In a photosynthetic ecosystem, energy is brought in through plants and some smaller organisms via the sun. Nutrients are absorbed from the soil. When organisms die or create waste, decomposers break down this matter. A subterranean or deep ocean ecosystem lacks the keystone of a photosynthetic ecosystem, the sun. Organisms in these situations need to find another source of energy. The most common one is chemosynthesis. If this sounds familiar to you, you may have heard of the Mariana Trench, which is the most famous example of a chemosynthetic ecosystem. In fact, it's the most famous example of a non-photosynthetic ecosystem. The Mariana Trench has hydrothermic vents dotted throughout it that spew out mineral-rich water. Bacteria break the bonds between hydrogen sulfide in the mineral-rich water. The sulfur clumps together and is discarded. The breaking of these bonds forces the hydrogen to divide between the oxygen and the carbon dioxide, creating a carbohydrate and water. This food source keeps the bacteria multiplying. They are then eaten by microbes, which are then eaten by subsequently larger predators, just like any ecosystem. Whenever a vent stops spewing minerals, the ecosystem moves on to another one. But wait, we already knew life could exist in the ocean. What about deep cave systems? Good question. Let's look at somewhere a little more isolated. Romania's mobile cave has been isolated from the surface for approximately 5.5 million years. The atmosphere contains 1/3 of the oxygen that we would expect to find on the surface of Earth, and 100 times the carbon dioxide. This cave system is supported entirely by chemosynthesis. An area of the cave is flooded with water containing large amounts of methane and hydrogen sulfide. Bacteria like the ones we saw at the Mariana Trench convert these carbon molecules into carbohydrates. Fungi and microbes in the water eat these bacteria and are subsequently eaten by larger and larger predators up until the largest predator in the cave. At this point we know that life can exist underground. If life can exist deep below the caves, away from our atmosphere, just by surviving off of minerals from underground, could they be living on other planets like Mars in the vast volcano tube systems? More so, is this where life starts